Hi, thank you for watching Chittarupa Yoga. Today we are going to strictly do yoga to relax. We are going to start standing with some nice flowing moves to get us really kind of worn out so that we can relax with some deep stretches afterwards. Do me a favor and leave me some comments. Let me know what you think of this video, and check out any links that I have in the description below. We are going to start in our mountain pose. So let's separate our feet about hip distance and just begin by dropping our tailbone, lifting our chest, relaxing our shoulders. And we'll start with a few deep breaths into our belly, and that will begin the relaxation process. And some of you all have seen the Nasarga Mukha Bhastrika video that I have, a pranayama video that's available. We're going to do 3 rounds of that right here. So inhale and exhale. Inhale, dig deep. And exhale, blow it away. And just return to normal breathing. And we're going to take it to a little chair flow. Inhaling up. Let's exhale, sitting our hips back. Inhale up and exhale, pressing back, squeezing through our glutes to lift. So we want to get our body warm so that we can take advantage of some deep stretches that will help us relax. And we're going to coordinate all of our movement with our breath for the same reason. And let's go ahead and inhale up, exhale into a forward fold. We'll inhale up and exhale halfway forward. Moving with our breath as we take it all the way down and halfway down. We'll do one more all the way and halfway. Now let's go ahead and step forward. We'll find Warrior One. We'll just kind of get in touch with ourselves for a moment. And then we'll open up to Warrior Two. So just making sure that our front heel and our back arch are lined up. Shoulders stay over our hips. And we're warrioring here. Let's flip this hand and reach forward and then up. Opening up our side body. And we're going to take this to our triangle, reaching out and over. So remember, just go as far forward as your body wants to go. We don't have to reach the floor. We don't have to reach this hand up. It usually feels better for the shoulder if we keep it down. Now let's take this back to our lunge. And here again, we're going to work a little bit, inhaling and exhaling. Inhale and exhale. So already getting a little stretch here. Now let's take it back to reverse warrior and hold. Coming back to Warrior Two. And then Warrior One. Now let's step it up to our mountain with our feet together. And we're going to push back into our chair, hands at our heart, and we're just going to twist to one side. So keeping our spine long. Let's come back to the center, inhale up. Exhale, sitting back into our chair, twisting to the other side. Now let's release from here, and we're going to find Warrior One on our other side. Remembering to breathe deeply, We're gonna kind of keep our breath into our belly here, opening up to our warrior two, shoulders over hips. And let's flip and reach forward, finding our reverse warrior. And then we're going to straighten our leg, shift and reach over to our triangle. Focused on lifting this shoulder up wherever our arm is. And we'll take this back to reverse warrior. And our flow, inhaling here, exhaling over. Taking our time with these movements. Being very mindful of using our hips. And we're going to take this back to the reverse warrior. From here to warrior two, back to warrior one. So let's release here. We tend to hold a lot of tension at our neck and shoulders. So let's reach our hands back, clasp and open up. This should open up the front of our chest, front of our shoulders. And we're just going to take a little nod of our head. And let's come up tall, dropping one ear and then the other. And let's lift up tall. Let's roll our shoulders back a little more. See if we can lift our hands just a little bit. And let's look over one shoulder and our other. So this partly stretch, partly warm up for deeper stretching of our neck. And let's release from here. Stepping out wide on our mat, facing sideways. Let's give ourselves a big hug and then see if we can find our eagle arms. Exhaling and hanging out here for just a moment. Shaking out and rocking our head. Let's open up here, big breath. Other arm on top. And let's hang forward. So just letting all tension come off of our neck. And let's come up. So we're going to go ahead and take it to the floor. I'll let you get there any way you want to. And we're going to start with the soles of our feet together. So just opening up, our hips are another place that we tend to be kind of tense. So let's take our hands to our thighs to help open up here. Or you can always do a little flap here to help them relax. And let's just see what happens. See if we can get our hips to open. And if it's more comfortable, take this to easy seat with one leg in front. I'm going to focus on continuing to open at the hips while we go back to our neck while it's still warm and drop one ear. Let's push that same side hand into the floor, in front or behind us. And we're just going to take a rotate down, chin toward the floor, and a little nod. And then we'll unwind and lift up. Let's go to the other side, pushing our hand into the floor, just finding that stretch. Turning our chin to the floor. And here we might nod. Let's turn back and lift up. Taking our legs out straight. So let's warm ourselves up again a little bit by finding our boat pose. That should really put some fire in us. Squeezing our knees together, lifting one or both feet, holding on or letting go. Of course, we can also straighten it out. And let's release from there. We'll take our legs wide this time. Same thing, working on opening up. We're going to do a little bit of opening of the outer hip as well. But let's begin here. Opening up, coming forward. And we're going to go ahead and take a stretch over each leg. just to get the back side, hamstrings, calves. Our legs hold a lot of tension as well, especially if we are very active. We might get a lot of tension and cramping there. So let's move over to the other leg. Just keep that in mind with some of these stretches. We're also going to look at some front hip openers for those who aren't as active. Now let's slide back to the center and sit up. And let's bring one foot in so that we can reach up and then focus on some back leg stretch as well as side stretching here. So we should be feeling this sit bone pressing into the floor while we're reaching up to the ceiling or over, depending on our own body here. And making sure that we breathe. Anywhere we are, we want to breathe. And let's lift up and switch sides. You did that. All right, let's lift up, pushing the sit bone down. And again, we can stay right here reaching up, or we can take it over. Again, breathing. We'll feel our breath more on that open side. So let's lift up from here, and we're going to go ahead and just find a mermaid seat. We're going to start to press this top knee back. I'm going to turn a little bit so you can see. So we're going to be pushing this leg back so that we get that opening here. And for those who are feeling it, we can reach back and grab our foot and draw it in, which should bring a bit more stretch to the front of our thigh. But our focus here is really right across our hip. So hopefully we get a little release in our hips, we can relax. But remember, we can just press back here. All right, let's unwind from that. See if we can get the other side. So push it back and just keep opening up here. Or reach down and grab it. Notice how each side probably feels a little different. Our hips tend to be that way. So when we finish this one, we're going to take it to the floor and really get into our deep relaxation. So let's release from that, bring our legs around, and we'll roll on down to the floor. And just take a moment here. Let's reach down and grab our ankles, elbows into our thighs. Let's find that butterfly stretch again. And then we're going to take this open wide. We can keep holding onto our ankles. We can switch to holding our big toes or our thighs and just open up here for a moment, letting gravity help us with this. Inversions help us to relax as well. Part of it is bringing all the blood and lymph back out of our legs so that they don't cramp and they feel a little relief, especially if there's any swelling up at our ankles and feet. Let's bring our feet together. And we're going to figure 4 this. So this is our stretch. Let me start on this side. This is our stretch for the outer hip. We want to keep this knee in closer than the foot, so we don't want to push it open. We want to hug it gently into our body. So keeping this knee in closer than this foot relaxed, and this one can move a little bit. But focus on hugging this knee in so we feel that stretch through this hip. Some people may like to enhance that stretch a little bit by lifting up toward it. Well, let's all release down. We'll take our feet to the ceiling. And again, let gravity help us with inner thigh opening. And then we'll go back to outer thigh on the other side. So hip opening here, hugging this knee in closer, this foot relaxed. And then this upper foot can move around if we choose. Remember, we can also lift up and enhance this a little more. And let's release from that. We'll bring our feet to the floor, knees up. Let's let our knees roll together, and we'll go ahead and take our feet out to the edges of our mat. And let's just focus on some deep breaths right now into our belly. So inhale, lift our belly up. Exhale, pressing it into the floor. So belly breathing is the most relaxing breath the human body can do. Let's release from here, and we'll walk our feet back in toward each other. Hands down by our side. Let's walk our feet back and out till we can touch our fingertips. Now let's inhale, pressing up to our bridge pose. And we can also walk under and turn our palms up, getting a little more opening across our chest. We might even walk our hands in until we can clasp them. So find any variation of arms here that you want. Big breaths into our belly. Feeling that inversion happening as our hips are higher than our heart. And let's release from here, hugging our knees in, and we're going to open our arms wide and take this to a twist. Just an easy twist to one side. Twists help us to wring everything out and promote relaxation. We can even turn our head to the other side, getting a full, complete twist here. Checking in with our breath. See if we can still get it into that belly. Breathing is always interesting in twists, I think. Let's go ahead and lift up, and we'll take our legs out. Let's stretch everything out, straighten our spine. And then we'll hug our knees again. Let's open our arms and drop to the other side. It's an easy twist on this side, both shoulders down. And again, we can roll our head the other way. Just noticing how this side feels, how our breath feels. We should be feeling our breath. And let's come back up. We'll take our legs out long, arms overhead. And one more time, let's stretch out, straighten our spine. And then we're gonna bend our arms a little bit and just let them rest overhead. This is our panda gesture. And let's lift our knees, walking our feet back. And we're gonna let our knees open, soles of the feet together. And this is a very relaxing pose for our hips. A lot of teachers, yoga teachers that I've taken classes with have recommended this as a good pose to prior to going to bed to help our legs and body relax so that we can sleep. So let's go back to our belly breath here. The pond gesture with our arms is also supposed to be relaxing. Imagine sitting by a pond and how calm and serene it can be. But let's go back to that belly breath. If our sinuses are clear enough, we can breathe through our nose. But let's breathe any way that we have to. We can also take blocks, blankets, or towels underneath our knees here, if that feels better. let's go ahead and squeeze and lift our knees, bringing our arms back. Shake everything out for just a moment. We're going to take this to Shavasana, since that is part of relaxing in yoga. And let's just kind of look at our pose today. Extending our legs out, lifting our elbows, or pressing into our elbows to lift our chest, rolling our shoulder blades under. I like to take my arms out wide. That's what feels most relaxing. Find some gesture of letting go. Palms up, just letting everything go. And then with our legs, depending on how our lower back feels, we might place a blanket or something underneath our knees. We might even just keep our knees bent. So let's just kind of explore what feels good in this pose. So starting with knees up, feel our lower back. I like the whole letting go concept of legs out long, but sometimes it does feel better to have the knees elevated on something. So just kind of play around and see what feels right. A lot of folks who come to my classes like to have a pillow under their head here, one of those small little travel pillows that carry easily. Well, let's just find whatever works here. And then just begin to release through our legs. Let them get heavy. Feeling our backside connect with the floor. Letting our arms get heavy and sink. Remembering to stay soft in our belly and chest. We want to release any tension there so that we can breathe. And for now, again, breathing into our belly. And then starting to let our breath just come wherever it wants to go in our body. Feeling our head get heavy. We also want to leave a little space in our jaw. So we don't want to be clenching our teeth. Let's leave a little space there and softening the muscles of our face. We tend to hold a lot of tension here, especially if we've got a lot of tension in our neck. So see if we can release that, find a gesture of letting it go. And just being still for a few moments. So depending on how this is feeling, stay here for a while, pause the video. If you do stay here for a while, make sure to do this next part as slowly as we're about to do it. If we're in Shavasana for 5 minutes or longer, we definitely want to take our time coming out. And that means we start with a few deep breaths, filling up our whole body. And then we'll begin with fingers and toes, wiggling them, moving our hands and feet, working our way up our arms and legs, maybe even beginning to roll our head side to side. And then just moving our body any way. Imagine you just woke up in bed, you want to take that big stretch. But we also want to be mindful of coming up. So let's hug our knees in and roll over to one side. We can use our arm like a pillow if we don't have a pillow. And stay here at least 3 breaths, especially if you've had a long Shavasana. We need to give our head and body a chance to orient. And when we're ready, we can use our top hand. Come up slowly. And we'll just find a comfortable seat. And whichever leg we have in front, we're going to turn the other way. We're going to stand back up today. But again, take your time, take a few more breaths here if you're still feeling the change from lower gravity. But we're going to turn, take our hands around, see if we can spiral up on our toes and press ourselves up. And just notice if we are feeling hopefully more relaxed now. And that is our yoga for relaxation today. Again, please check the links below, find all my videos that are on Patreon, and I will see you next time.